just delete it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tara East. I'm a writer, blogger, YouTuber, and the author of the mystery novel Every Time He Dies. And in this week's video, I want to talk about the problem with outlines. Now, before we get into it, I just want to say I'm kind of close to the camera today because the lighting is a bit weird this morning, so hopefully it's not too confronting. Outlines are helpful because they make us feel safe. They are a blueprint which convinces us, rightly or wrongly, that we know what this story is going to be about and where it's going. Novels are such large, wild beasts, and they contain multiple threads and components. An outline is a great way to make all of that seem just a little bit more manageable. It can be difficult to hold an entire story in your mind, but an outline basically acts as a second brain that you can store your story in a small number of pages. It takes a long time to write a novel, so it can be good to know before you start writing in earnest that you've already thought ahead about some of the potential problems and solved them before you started writing. This type of planning can give you confidence to begin, but an over-reliance on the outline can actually be detrimental to your novel. If a writer spends way too much time creating an outline and then fiercely sticks to it as they write, they may shut themselves off from any creative sudden insights or awarenesses that can really only happen once you've actually started writing. Often, we may plan something out ahead of time, but once we start writing a scene, those events may no longer make sense or feel organic. If a writer has sunk hours into the creation of an outline, they may feel beholden to follow it, even if the ideas and scenes they map out fail to come to life on the page. When it comes to novel writing, it is really important that writers learn how to remain curious and open to their stories. Rather than working from an outline as a way to prevent major rewrites or edits, it is perhaps more accurate to say that a novel emerges slowly and through multiple drafts as the writer critically reflects on what they have written, adapt to any sudden changes or ideas, and incorporate new material as they discover it in real time. The good thing about stories is that if you write something and it doesn't work, you can either move it someplace else or just delete it. If you write a bad scene, the entire novel isn't going to collapse as a result. We need to think of novels as beings that evolve and unfold over time as you continue to engage with the work. Outlines are incredibly helpful tools for sorting out our thinking, but we are under no obligation to follow them, particularly if you want to challenge yourself by pursuing a new idea, or you just want to see what happens, following your curiosity and instincts. The entire novel does not need to be figured out before you start drafting. Give yourself permission to really discover the story as you write it, because that's half the fun of it. Something to consider before you start writing is, how would you write this draft differently if no one was ever going to read it? Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do you find outlines helpful as a way to get your head around the idea of the story before you start writing, but then do you abandon it once you're sort of in the process, or do you stick to it quite religiously? I'd love to know, so please leave a comment below. Now, if you'd like even more writing advice, there are 4 years worth of videos on this channel, or you can go to taraeast.com and dive into the archives. While you're there, please consider joining my email newsletter, because when you do, I'll send you a free gift called the Follow-Through Formula: How to Complete a Long-Term Writing Project. You'll also receive a newsletter in your inbox every single Thursday morning, including a note by me, links to that week's blog and video, a quote of the week, some resources I've recently loved and think you will too, as well as some tidbits that I only share via email. Thank you so much for being here and for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Stay safe, stay calm, and keep writing because the world actually does need more books.